chain breakers that had to be a parent to their siblings, this is a reading for you because now is the time for you to get clear in your head what the fuck has happened on your journey, especially with your siblings, and how that is affecting you now. And I know a lot of you who are no contact with siblings or who are in some deep tension with siblings, confused around your relationship with siblings. This is because this is coming up for this to be cleared now for you. It might not resolve in the physical realm between you and them, but it needs to be resolved in yourself. Now, you potentially are an eldest child, okay, that or another child in another order that was responsible, that you've been set up for failure from the beginning, being put in the position directly or indirectly to be a parent, to be responsible for the other siblings. And the truth is that it has more effects on you than what some of you may know. Key one, Unlock Your Love Blocks program, High Vibration City, is a free course that you can do if you want to start looking at how your relationship with siblings affects every dynamic with others in your life, no matter where you go, no matter what room you walk into. It's time to understand how this is affecting your life. This is the chain that needs to be broken now. And the truth is, you were never ever given an opportunity to be a sibling because you're separated from the other siblings, but you were never ever meant to be their parent, and you can't be their parent. So you set up to fail. So you set up for failure, you set up for resentment, and you set up for this pattern of not feeling like you belong because there's confusion there, because your role was confused from when you were a kid. So I've pulled a couple of cards, and basically you're done with it. You're moving away from this painful chapter. Okay, you've got the Six of Swords. You've also got Unlock Your Love Blocks. These are my oracle cards available on my website, rebecca-lee.com. Worthiness card. Like, this has really affected your worthiness because there's a deep down confusion in who you are and what role you play in any situation with people. Okay, you were asked, again, directly or indirectly, to step into a role when you were a child or younger, could have been a teenager, to carry responsibilities and burdens that weren't yours. Okay, and I'm not talking about someone who babysit every now and then or this. I'm talking deeper than that. If you've been a parentified child, by the emotions and the heaviness and the burdens and the responsibilities that you feel within your heart and your mind and your body to take care of and to worry about your other siblings. And probably feel it stronger than what your parent was able to do, whether your parents are emotionally immature, personality or disorders, mental health, maybe addicts, maybe work obsessed, who knows? Okay, it's going to be different for all of you. It doesn't matter. What matters is what you've been carrying because of this role that you've been in, and how it affects your life. So what's happening now is that you are being, spirit saying that you're about to move, you're ready to move away from this painful chapter, this painful feeling, okay, and move towards greater peace and understanding. And for a lot of you, it's about understanding this whole journey. Maybe some of you have done some work around this. Okay, maybe some of you have like, holy shit, I haven't even thought that what has happened there, or my journey with my siblings, or why my relationship with my siblings is like it is. Because for some of you, you might be in no contact with the siblings. Maybe you've just got done and tired and exhausted and stepped away. Chain breakers often do, because you just put so much in for so long, you step away. Or perhaps they've stepped away from you and you don't understand why, and you're confused. What did you do? Like, you've just done nothing but give your heart and fucking soul to these people, and why they're stepping away. It's because you've been put in the parent position, right? Even though you think you're the older sibling or whatever sibling, you've been put in a parent position, and they'll resent you like they resent a parent, but you're not the parent. But you can't even be the sibling because they've never seen you as the sibling. So it's an unfortunate situation. Um, but you, on some part of your journey, you were the caretaker, the protector, the emotional parent, instead of being the brother and the sister. Okay, and now it's time to reaffirm, on a soul level, to your siblings, I'm your sibling. You can imagine them. You can light a candle. You can imagine them standing in front of you. We do a lot of this work in Unlock Your Love Blocks and in Family Constellations. You can imagine them standing in front of you and affirming to them and affirming to yourself, I'm your sibling. I'm not your parent. Or I am your older brother or your older sister. I'm not your father, or I'm not your mother. Okay. And you can say these things multiple times until it really starts shifting the energy in your heart and your mind, and connects you back to your soul position in the family. So your siblings have probably looked for you to you for safety. But again, they probably have resented the authority or the responsibility that you've represented at some point. Okay. So this is, if you have no contact with your siblings, or the relationship between the siblings is strained, this is because even if they recognize it or not, there's resentment. Okay, they have a tension. There's a misunderstanding, and it's nothing to do with love. I think that there's deep amount of love between you all, but there is this confusion, okay, and resentment around the roles that you were forced to be in, okay, because your parents didn't step up and step in and be the big ones, and be the big ones as in be the parents. Okay, so I've got the Queen of Pentacles reversed around this situation. I can't pick it up. Queen of Pentacles reversed. Oh, where's that? And this is just saying, like, she's just showing the cost that you've paid. And you've paid a big cost for this. Like, this has really fucked you up in a lot of ways, particularly when it comes to working with others. That's why Key One, in my Love Blocks program, we work with how every room, every group, every friendship, every work situation that we look into, we're actually seeking our siblings, but we're also replaying an imprint that we have from being a parentified child into every situation. Okay, so we really need to break that chain for ourselves, okay, because we constantly feel that we're responsible. And that doesn't mean just stepping into leadership or anything like that. It's this energy of feeling like maybe you have to solve a problem, and maybe others, strangers, will see, hang on a minute, you don't need to solve my problem. Or maybe they think you're a know-it-all, or they will misread you. Okay, you're being misread. And you really need to understand it's because you're walking in with this imprint that's happened from being a parentified child. And also, you probably are so keen and motivated and inspired to take care of other people, but not yourself, because you're so used to neglecting yourself. And this is what is about to change. Like, this is going to be a whole new way of being for you that wants to come in. Okay. And you got the worthiness card. Remember, like, the worthiness card is understanding like that you deserve peace and love and happiness and good things, just as much as anybody else. So you're on a real turning point of self-love and self-healing. And I know that a lot of you have done a lot of that, but I'm saying, if this reading resonates with you, like understanding your situation through this lens, through this door, understanding how this has impacted you. So you've got the Queen of Swords. And, she's just saying, like, you've got all this abilities and knowledge and personality and characteristic. And a lot of you, chain breakers in general, are destined to lead in some way, whether that's their family that they create, maybe not so much their family that they're from, although they are leading in a way, but chain breakers are often cut off and not seen for what they're really trying to do. But you are destined, a lot of you are destined to lead in some big or small way, whether that is to lead your family out of the family patterns, and or, perhaps some way in the community or business or something like that. So it's calling for a level of maturity. It's not about getting upset with your parents and blaming your siblings or your parents or getting into anything like that. Okay. I believe a lot of you have probably worked through a lot of that or in and out of that, like it happens in layers. Okay. There's also a little bit of guilt here that some of you are carrying, perhaps really beating yourself up for a situation that happened with a sibling, perhaps in your care. Like there's something that you're feeling guilty for or responsible for. And I want to say that you really need to do some healing around this part. Like if you're looking back on yourself and see, oh God, look at how I spoke to my sibling, or look at what I did then, and you're beating yourself up, like this is coming to say you need to do some healing around that. Okay. You did the best with the responsibilities that were put on your shoulder that should never have been on your shoulder as a child. And you cannot hold yourself prisoner or in exile or in guilt and punishment because of how you were as a younger person in a position that you shouldn't be in. So for some of you, there's a little bit of guilt here, and there's a lot of grief here. I can feel it. There's a lot of grief here, and it's time to let that go, and it's time to forgive your younger self for what you perceive now as hard, maybe wrong. It's time to forgive yourself for however you took on that role as a young person. It wasn't your role. It was too big for you. It was too much for you. So you really need to give yourself some understanding and some care around that. So the way that you move forward now is coming to this understanding to see how that potentially is playing out in your life. And as I said, I've got work around that to help you understand that more and more, and how that is playing out in your life and perhaps blocking you, especially with tribe and community and heart. Okay. And it's time to officially lay down the role of parent. And that's, if you're a parent, it's not that you lay down the role of parent for your own children. Obviously, there's probably a little piece there to make sure that your own kids aren't parentified, but most chain breakers are not doing that. It's more about how you walk into every other area of your life and think that that you need to be responsible for others or take charge. Even if you're quiet, there's an energy about you. Okay, people read energy, even if they're not in the woo-woo land. They'll feel something about you that might feel threatening or offending or something like this. You might just aggravate them, right? So there's an energy here. So you have to lay down this role of being the surrogate parent, okay? And also not wanting to solve everybody's problems for them because it's the right thing to do, or it's your role, or it's what you do. It's time to let people carry their own responsibilities, to walk into a space and just hold what is naturally yours, or what is naturally, or not naturally, but what you're getting paid to do. And just be worried about that, right? And stop taking on everything else for everyone else. You were never meant to raise your siblings. Okay, you were meant to grow alongside of them. And there's a little bit of grief there because you didn't get to have that experience. So now it's time to release this role that you inherited. Okay, so you can build your future relationships, friendships, colleagues, go into groups, and have it as a mutual giving and receiving, and not feel obligated to be in charge or to take care of everyone that's in that space. Love blocks card to finish, understanding. It's no right or wrong. It's just understanding the journey. Okay, as souls, we came in we incarnated into these situations to learn things. And, you know, especially our families, as hard as they can be, there's something that you need to take from this. And especially what's just come in from spirit, if you are entrepreneur, if you are running a business, or you are in leadership, you know, a big part of that journey and the big part of where we are moving to, particularly with leadership now and into the future, is there's not a one-man army or one-man team at the top of all of this, one person who's the superior or knows it all or does it all. Like, this is about you recognizing that, you know, you can take your part in the team. You can take your part in your team, and you can start opening to attracting people in and trusting people that can actually be responsible for their share of things, be responsible for their part of things. You could be attracting people that want to lean on you. This is why. Okay. And that's not your future. I'm going to finish with the last card, Unlock Your Love Blocks card, Conquer Self-Doubt. This has really, really rattled your confidence, this journey. It's really, really rattled your confidence. But if you can understand this and heal this, you can go a long way. So again, come see me, highvibrationcity.com, create a free account. I have a group in there. There's a lot of other of us, high vibers, chain breakers, people in there offering some beautiful stuff. It's for free. Come and have a look and let us know that you're there.